The phone screen lit up his dark limousine. A single message. I have her. Come to City Park. Now. Arthur Vance's world stopped. His blood didn't go cold. It evaporated. He felt a hot, metallic taste in his mouth. Fear. He had not felt it in decades. He didn't wait for his driver. He shoved the car door open before it had fully stopped, stumbling onto the wet asphalt. Sir! His driver, Ben, called out, startled. The protocol. Shut up, Ben. Arthur roared. He was already gone. He ran. His $5,000 Italian leather shoes meant for boardrooms and private jets, hit the dirty pavement of the New York City street. A taxi blared its horn, swerving. Arthur didn't even flinch. He shoved a man in a hoodie out of his way. Hey, watch it! The man yelled. Arthur didn't hear. His lungs, used to cigars and filtered air, were already on fire. He tasted exhaust. He tasted panic. He never ran. He paid people to run for him. He paid people to protect him. And they had failed. His mind was a slideshow of horrors. A white van, a ransom note, a child's face on the news. His child. His Lily. He reached the black iron gates of City Park. The park was dark, a place he only saw from his penthouse window, 40 floors up. A green smudge. Now it was a dark, swallowing mouth. North Gate, the text had said. He ran along the stone path, his heart a hammer trying to break out of his chest. His daughter, his tiny, 6-month-old daughter, was his only weakness. And someone had found her. Then he saw them. Under a single, dim, flickering streetlight, a figure on a bench. His mind screamed, the handover, the money drop. Where is the car? Where are they? He slowed, his breath ragged. He ducked behind a large, ancient oak tree, pressing his palm against the rough, cold bark to steady himself. He peered around the trunk. His eyes adjusted to the dim light. It was a woman. She was sitting on a dirty park bench, the wood covered in ugly, spray-painted words. She was holding a baby, and she was crying. He recognized her. The recognition was a physical blow. It was Chloe, his new maid, the young black woman he had hired just 3 weeks ago. She was in her green work uniform, and she was holding his baby, his Lily. Arthur froze. His blood, which had been boiling, turned to ice. This wasn't a stranger. This wasn't a professional kidnapping team. This was an inside job. His mind flashed with every possibility, each one worse than the last. Why was she here? Why was she holding Lily? And why was she wearing those gloves? He could see them clearly in the bad light. Bright red. Rubber. Cleaning gloves. His mind leaped. The gloves. To hide fingerprints. Was this the handover? Was she waiting for the buyer? Was she selling his child? The thought was so vile, so cheap, it made him sick. He looked around. The park was empty. No one was coming. It was just her, the baby, and the sound of her quiet, heartbreaking sobs. His first instinct was rage. Pure, white-hot rage. He wanted to run out, to snatch his child, to scream at her until his throat tore, to call the police and have her thrown in a cell so deep she would never see the sun again. Betrayal. It was the one sin he never forgave. He had built his entire life on trusting no one, and he had let this woman into his home, near his child. But he stopped. His cold, calculating brain took over. Something was wrong with this picture. She wasn't looking around. She wasn't acting nervous or shifty. She wasn't checking her phone. Her head was bowed over the baby, and her shoulders shook. The baby, Lily, was wrapped in a blue blanket. She seemed to be asleep. Safe. This wasn't the behavior of a kidnapper closing a deal. This was the behavior of what? Grief? Fear? He had to know. He had to understand what he was seeing. This was the moment his life would either be saved or be over forever. He had to know what happened next. Welcome back, my beautiful family and friends. If you're listening, hooked, and already enjoying the story, please hit subscribe. Tell me in the comments where you're listening from. I love seeing our community around the world. Tomorrow, I'm dropping another sweet story, so don't miss it. And the first 4 people to comment with their real names will be featured in our next story. Now, let's continue. Let me take you back to where it all began. Just that morning, 12 hours earlier, Arthur Vance had been a different man. He was not a running, terrified father. He was a king. He stood in his glass-walled penthouse, a $100 million palace in the sky. He was looking down on the city as the sun rose, painting the clouds pink and orange. The view meant nothing to him. It was just territory he owned. He sipped his black coffee. It was bitter, just like he liked it. On his marble desk, he signed the last paper. The deal was done. He had just bought out a company, a rival he had been hunting for a year. He had ruined the man. He had taken his legacy. He had won. Again. He felt nothing. No joy, no guilt. It was just a game. It was just business. He checked his watch. 6:30 a.m. He walked past the nursery. The door was white, plain. He heard Lily make a small noise, a little coo. He paused. His hand hovered over the doorknob. He could go in. He could... What? Pick her up? He didn't know how. He was not good with small things. His late wife, she had been the one who wanted the child. The baby was the only thing she left behind. He looked at the child as a duty, an heir, a legacy to protect, not something to love. Love was a weakness. Love was a liability. He pulled his hand back. He saw Chloe walk down the hall. She was quiet, always quiet. She had passed a background check that was harder than joining the Secret Service. She was clean, no family listed, no friends, perfect employee. She was invisible. Mr. Vance, she said with a small nod. She did not smile. He liked that. She looked at the nursery door, then at him. The baby is fed, she said softly. I was just about to clean the kitchen. Good, Arthur said. He turned, adjusting his cufflinks. My meeting is at 10. I will be late tonight. Very late. There is a gala. He looked at her. His eyes were cold. Do not call me. Do not call my driver. Do not call my assistant. Understood? The only time you are to ever call me is if this entire building is on fire. Nothing else. Am I clear? He had said it to every nanny, every maid. It was his rule. Chloe looked at him, her dark eyes steady. Yes, sir. Understood. He had left. He went to his meeting. He crushed his rivals. He made more money he did not need. His phone buzzed all day. The nanny service. The penthouse landline. He ignored them. He had given his orders. Do not call. He sat in his limousine at 11 p.m. Tired. He was thinking about stocks, about markets. He was not thinking about his daughter. That is when the text came. I have her. City Park. Now. And now here he was, hiding behind a tree. His suit was damp. His hands were shaking. The king was a fool. He had to move. He couldn't wait for police. He couldn't wait for security. If this was a deal, he had to stop it. If it was betrayal, he had to end it. He stepped out from behind the tree. His $5,000 shoes crunched on the gravel path. The sound was loud in the quiet park. Chloe's head snapped up. Her eyes, wide and white in the darkness, fixed on him. Mr. Vance. His voice was not a shout. It was a low, dangerous growl, like a wolf that had cornered its prey. Chloe. The young woman jumped so hard she almost stood up. She gasped, her eyes wild with a terror he had seen before. The terror of an employee who had made a fatal mistake. She clutched Lily to her chest. The baby, disturbed, let out a small cry. "Give me my daughter," Arthur commanded. His voice cut through the night air. He walked forward, his hands clenched into fists at his sides. He was ready to fight, ready to take his child back. "Mr. Vance," she cried out. Her voice was choked with tears. "Mr. Vance, thank God, you're here." This was not the reaction he expected. This was not the stammering of a criminal caught in the act. This was relief, pure, desperate relief. She took a step towards him, as if he was her savior. "Stay right there," Arthur commanded. His rage came flooding back. This was a trick, a performance. "Do not take another step." Chloe froze. Her face, which had been full of hope, now crumpled in confusion. Arthur's eyes were hard. "What have you done? Where is the money? Who are you working with?" He lunged forward. He didn't grab the baby. He grabbed Chloe's arm. His grip was like a steel trap. He squeezed hard. Chloe screamed. It was not a scream of guilt. It was a scream of pure, agonizing fear and pain. "No, no, please, Mr. Vance. You're hurting me. Please," she yelled, her eyes wild. "Tell me," he yelled back, shaking her. The baby was crying loudly now. "Tell me the truth." "The fire," she screamed. She was hysterical. "The fire, the alarm, the building. We had to get out. We had to get out." Arthur stopped. His hand was still on her arm, but his grip loosened. The world seemed to stop spinning. The baby's cries, Chloe's sobs, the distant city. It all faded. "What?" he whispered. "What did you say?" "The fire alarm," she sobbed, tears streaming down her face. "It went off. In the penthouse. I tried to call you. I tried to call everyone. I smelled smoke. We had to run." Arthur stared at her. His mind tried to catch up. A fire? His last words to her. "Unless the building is on fire." He looked at his phone. No alerts from his building security. No messages. No fire. "You're lying," he said, but his voice had lost its certainty. He smelled his hand, the hand that had grabbed her arm. It didn't smell like her. It smelled sharp, like chemicals, like a hospital. He looked closer, squinting in the dim light. He looked at the bright red gloves. They were not covered in blood. They were wet, and they smelled strongly of bleach. I don't understand," Arthur said. He was a man who always understood everything. Now he understood nothing. "I was cleaning," Chloe cried, pulling her arm free. She backed away, still holding Lily tight. "I was cleaning the kitchen, and the alarm, oh God, the alarm. It was so loud. Couldn't think. I just grabbed her and ran." Arthur's mind was a storm. He let go of Chloe's arm. "A fire?" he repeated. His voice was sharp, a weapon. He was a man of facts, of numbers, of proof. Her story was wild. It was chaos, and he hated chaos. "You said, you smelled smoke," he accused. "I smell bleach. I smell the damp night air. I do not smell smoke." I thought I did," Chloe insisted. She was shaking so hard. The baby, Lily, began to stir and whimper. Lily's small cry was like a knife in Arthur's chest. Shh, baby, it's okay. It's okay," Chloe whispered. Her voice was breaking. She rocked Lily gently, her own fear forgotten for a second as she cared for the child. She bounced on her feet, her legs trembling. Arthur watched this. It was confusing. A kidnapper would not care if the baby cried. A kidnapper would be demanding money. A kidnapper would not be standing here weeping in a dirty park. He had to be sure. He pulled out his phone. His thumb, which had signed away billions of dollars, now shook. He pressed the number 1 on his speed dial. It rang once. His head of security, Peters, answered. "Sir, Peters, what is happening at the penthouse?" Arthur demanded. His voice was low, fast. "Report. Now." There was a pause. Arthur could hear the quiet, steady hum of the security room on the other end. "Sir? Nothing. All is quiet. I am looking at the monitors right now. The building is secure." Arthur's heart felt like it had been dropped in ice. "No fire. No fire, sir. Not even a drill. The system is green. All panels are green. Why? Is something wrong?" Arthur looked at Chloe. She was staring at him, her eyes wide, begging him to believe her. She was lying. "Sir," Peters asked again, "is Miss Lily okay?" Arthur's rage came back. It was cold, not hot. It was the rage of being played for a fool. "She took my daughter," he said, his voice flat. "She is in City Park. At the North Gate. She told me there was a fire. She is a liar." "What?" Peters's voice changed. "Sir, I am sending a team right now. Do not move. We will be there in 3 minutes." Arthur hung up. He turned back to Chloe. His face was a mask. It was the face he used when he was about to destroy a company. It was a face with no emotion, a face of stone. "There is no fire," he said. His voice was quiet, but it was more frightening than a shout. "My security team just confirmed. The building is fine. Everything is fine." He took a step toward her. "So you will tell me the truth. Now, why are you here? Who are you meeting?" Chloe looked like he had struck her. Her face crumbled. No, that's not possible." She shook her head, fast. "No, I heard it. I heard the alarm. It was so loud. It was in the hall. It was red and flashing. I heard it." "You are lying," Arthur said. "Stop lying." "I am not lying," Chloe shouted. It was the first time he had ever heard her raise her voice. The sound echoed in the empty park. "I am not." "Then explain," Arthur said, pointing. "Explain the gloves. The bleach. Explain why you ran. Explain why you are in a park, in the middle of the night with my child." Chloe looked down at her hands, as if she was just now seeing them. The bright red rubber gloves. She began to sob again, a deep, hopeless sound. "I told you. I was cleaning. The kitchen. Your orders, sir. You said the kitchen had to be perfect before I slept." She held up her hands. They were trembling. "I was scrubbing the counters. With bleach. You don't like germs. I was almost finished." She was talking fast, the words tumbling out. "And the alarm, it started. That sound. That awful screaming sound. I panicked." She was not looking at him. She was looking past him at something only she could see. A bad memory. "I dropped the bottle. The bleach, it splashed. All over my hands. On my uniform. I didn't have time to wash. I had to get Lily. I had to get the baby." She looked at Arthur, her eyes desperate. "I ran to her room. Couldn't touch her. Not with the bleach on my skin. It would burn her. It would hurt her. So I kept the gloves on. I grabbed her and I grabbed her blanket. And I ran. I just ran." Arthur was silent. Her story was specific. It was crazy, but it explained the gloves. It explained the chemical smell. "You smelled smoke?" he asked. "Yes. Or Or maybe it was the bleach. It was so strong. The alarm was so loud. I couldn't think straight. I had to get her out. I ran to the elevator. And Arthur pushed. It wasn't working, she cried. The light was off. The power was out. I pushed the button. I pushed it and pushed it, but it didn't come. I knew you can't take an elevator in a fire. I knew I had to take the stairs. So I ran to the stairwell. 40 floors, Arthur said, his voice flat. He was testing her. You ran down 40 floors. Yes, she whispered, exhausted. My legs, they feel like jelly. I think I fell. I don't remember. I held her tight. I held her so tight. I ran until I was at the bottom. And then you came here, he stated. Why? Why the park? I don't know, she said. I was on the street. It was loud. I was scared. I just wanted open space, away from the building, away from the smoke. I ran. I ran until I couldn't run anymore. And I sat here. I was gonna call 911. Then you sent me the text. Arthur froze. What text? The text, she said, confused. The one that said, I have her. City Park. Now. I thought you were telling me that you were here. That you had her. I didn't understand. Arthur's brain was working fast. His text. She thought he sent it? No, she had the baby. She must have sent it to him. Chloe, show me your phone, he commanded. I don't have it, she stammered. I must have dropped it when I was running. I don't know. Arthur stared at her. Her story was falling apart. No fire. A lost phone. This was all wrong. You are a very good liar, Chloe, he said, his voice like ice. I am not lying, she screamed again, tears of anger and fear on her face. Then why, Chloe? He asked, his voice rising. Why run? Why panic so much? Why run down 40 floors for an alarm that wasn't real? Why not just call security from the apartment? Why behave like a crazy person? Chloe's face changed. The fear and anger disappeared. They were replaced by a deep, dark sadness. A trauma so deep it was almost visible. Mr. Vance, she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. Your rule. You said, don't call unless the building is on fire. I know what I said, Arthur snapped. But this was different. You were broken. That sound, she whispered, shaking her head. That alarm. I can't hear it. It does something to me. Why, Chloe? Why? She took a shaky breath. She was looking at the ground. When I was 15, she said, her voice so quiet he had to lean in. I lived in an apartment, in a different city, with my parents. I was at a friend's house. I stayed too late. My dad. He was so mad. She smiled, a tiny, sad smile. I came home. It was late. Like this. She stopped. Go on, Arthur said. I saw the trucks, the red lights, flashing, everywhere. Her breathing was getting faster. The building, our building, it was on fire, red and orange, everywhere. The smoke, it was so thick. She was not in the park anymore. She was back in her past. I ran. I was screaming for them, for my mom, for my dad, but couldn't find them. A firefighter. He grabbed me. He held me back. They were inside, she whispered. They were asleep. The fire marshal. He told me later. The alarm in our apartment. It was broken. The batteries were dead. They didn't wake up. They burned. Arthur said nothing. Chloe was openly crying now, her body shaking with a grief that was 10 years old but still new. So when I heard your alarm, she cried, I just saw. I saw them. I saw the fire. I smelled the smoke, even if it wasn't real. I couldn't let Lily, couldn't let her. I couldn't lose anyone else. I had to get her out. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I ran. A long, heavy silence fell between them. The only sound was the distant city and Chloe's quiet sobs. Arthur looked at the young woman. He had seen men lie for millions of dollars. He was a human lie detector. He had built his empire on reading people. And he knew this was not a lie. This was the truth. The most painful, terrible truth he had ever heard. He had accused her of kidnapping. He had called her a liar. He had threatened her. And she was a hero. A terrified, broken, but very real hero. She had run down 40 flights of stairs. She had protected his child from bleach on her hands. She had done it all because she was brave. And because she was haunted. Arthur felt something he had not felt in years. He felt small. He felt shame. He had looked at her and seen a servant. Criminal. He had not seen the truth. Just as he was about to speak, just as he was about to say something, his phone rang. The sound was loud, and Chloe jumped, terrified. It's okay, Arthur said. His voice was rough. He cleared his throat. It's just my phone. He answered it. It was Peter's. What? Arthur said. His tone was different. He was not angry. He was just tired. Peter's voice was not calm. It was tight, afraid. Sir, Peter said, his voice low, you need to listen to me, very carefully. I was wrong. Arthur's blood went cold again. Wrong? What do you mean, wrong? You said there was no fire. No, sir. There was no fire. That is true. But I was wrong when I said nothing happened. Peters was talking fast. I dug deeper into the system logs. Not the green light panel. The deep logs. Sir. The alarm was triggered. At 11:05 p.m. Arthur stared at Chloe. But how? A mistake? A broken part? No, sir, Peter said. It was a manual override. From an outside signal. It was a hack, sir. Someone triggered your alarm on purpose. And they only triggered it on the penthouse floor. Arthur felt his knees go weak. A hack? Yes, they made her hear it. And sir, that's not all. The text message you got. The one that said, I have her. City Park. Now. We tracked the number. It came from the same source as the hack. Arthur looked around the dark, empty park. It was not empty. What does that mean? It means, sir, Peter said, his voice grim. They didn't just trigger the alarm. They were watching. They knew she ran. They knew she had the baby. They knew, sir. Arthur's mind was racing, connecting the dots. They made her run. It gets worse, sir, Peter said. We checked her phone. We pinged its last location. It's in an alley 10 blocks from you. But we accessed her texts, sir. She did get a text, just as she left the building, from an unknown number. We think it's from them. What did it say? Arthur demanded. It said, go to the park. It is safe there. Go to the bench by the north gate. Arthur's heart stopped. He looked at Chloe. He looked at his baby. He looked at the dirty bench. This was not a kidnapping. This was not a betrayal. This was not an accident. It was a trap. It was a test. And the terrifying part was, they were sitting right in the middle of it. They were exactly where the enemy wanted them to be. The park was no longer a quiet place. It was a stage. It was a trap. Arthur's mind, which had been foggy with confusion and shame, was now crystal clear. The realization hit him like a physical blow. They were being watched. Right now. "Peters," Arthur said into the phone, his voice a low growl. "Are you on your way?" "2 minutes out, sir." "An armored car?" "No, not you. Not the team," Arthur said. He was thinking fast. If they were being watched, a team of men in suits running in would be a disaster. "Send one car. A simple black sedan. No lights. No sirens. To the street outside the park. Tell your men to stay back. I am walking out. Now." "Sir, that is not safe." "Doing what they expect is not safe," Arthur snapped. "They want to see me panic. They want to see a scene. I will not give it to them. Be ready." He hung up. He turned to Chloe. The anger was gone. The accusation was gone. His face was a cold mask of pure, focused purpose. "We are leaving," he said. It was not a request. "Give me the baby." Chloe flinched. She clutched Lily tighter. What is happening?" "Mr. Vance, you're scaring me." "I am scared too," Arthur said. It was a shocking confession. "That's why you have to trust me. The fire, it was not real. It was a trick. Someone made you run." Her eyes went wide. "A trick? But the alarm. It was a hack. They set it off," he said, his eyes scanning the dark trees around them. He felt 1,000 invisible eyes on his back. "They wanted you to run. They wanted you to come to this exact bench. And they wanted me to come here to find you. We are in danger. Give me the baby. We have to walk." Chloe's mind could not catch up. A hack? A trick? But his urgency was real. His fear was real. She looked down at Lily, then back at Arthur. Slowly, she handed the sleeping baby to him. It was the first time he had held his daughter in over a month. He felt her small, warm weight. It was so real. It made the danger feel 1,000 times worse. "Now," he said, "stand up. Walk with me. Not too fast. We are just a man and a woman in a park. We are just walking. Do not look around. Do not act afraid." "I am afraid," she whispered. "I know. Act better than me," he said. He put one arm around her shoulder, pulling her close. It was not a comfort. It was a command. It was to make them look like a couple. They walked. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of a leaf, made Arthur's heart jump. He held Lily so tightly, she stirred. "It's okay," he found himself whispering. "I've got you." He wasn't sure if he was talking to Lily, or to Chloe, or to himself. They walked out of the iron gates. The street was dark. A simple, black car pulled up to the curb. The back door opened. "Get in," Arthur said. Chloe slid in. Arthur got in after her, protecting Lily with his own body. The door shut. The car did not speed. Pulled away from the curb calmly. It drove for 2 blocks. Then it turned a corner, and the world exploded. 2 black, armored SUVs, which had been waiting in silence, roared to life. They boxed in the sedan. Men in dark suits with earpieces jumped out. "Sir!" Peters was there. He ripped open Arthur's door. "Are you safe? Is the child safe?" "We are safe," Arthur said, his heart still pounding. He handed Lily to a shocked Chloe. Go with him. Get in the main car." The transfer was fast. They were in the armored SUV in 5 seconds. The doors locked with the heavy thunk of a bank vault. The small convoy sped off, running red lights, racing through the city. Chloe sat across from Arthur, clutching Lily. She was shaking. What is happening? Mr. Vance, please. What is going on? Arthur was on his phone. Lock down the building. No one in, no one out. Sweep every floor. I want a report on every single system in the next 10 minutes. Check the elevators. Check the lights. Check the heat. Check everything. He hung up and finally looked at her. Someone is playing a game, Chloe, he said, his voice hard. They wanted to prove they could get to my daughter. They used your past. They used your fear. They used you. Chloe's face went white. They knew? About my parents. They knew the alarm would make you panic. They knew you would run, Arthur said. They are smart. And they are cruel. Chloe felt sick. She had thought she was saving Lily. But she was just a puppet. A pawn. They had pulled her strings, and she had run just like they wanted. The ride was silent after that. Chloe just held the baby, tears of a new, different kind of fear and shame rolling down her cheeks. When they got to the penthouse, it was not the quiet, empty home she had left. The lobby was full of men in suits. Peters's security team. They were everywhere. The elevator was flanked by 2 guards. They rode up in silence. When the doors opened to the penthouse, it was the same. More guards. Men were at computers. The entire place felt cold. It was not a home. It was a military base. Mr. Vance, sir, Peters said, meeting them. We are in the security room. Take the baby to the nursery, Arthur said to Chloe. Stay with her. Lock the door. Do not open it for anyone but me. Chloe nodded, her legs shaking. She just wanted to hide. She ran to the nursery and locked the door, her heart pounding. Arthur walked into the security room. It was deep in the building, a room with no windows. The walls were covered in screens showing every hall, every door. Tell me, Arthur said. Peters typed on a keyboard. He brought up a file. A log. Here, sir. 11:05 p.m. The fire alarm panel for the penthouse. A manual override. From an outside signal. How? Arthur asked. That system is closed. It's not on the internet. We thought so too, Peters said. He looked sick. But they found a way. Through the building's smart system. The heating. The thermostat. It has a small Wi-Fi connection. They got in. It was brilliant. And terrifying. They only set off the alarm on your floor. No one else in the building heard it. Arthur felt a chill. They targeted my floor. They targeted her. Yes, they knew she was there, Peters said. He pointed to a screen. It was a recording. From a hidden camera in the penthouse hallway. Arthur watched. He saw Chloe in her uniform. She was coming from the kitchen. She was wearing the red gloves. Suddenly, the red alarm light on the wall flashed. The sound was loud even on the video. Terrible, screaming sound. He watched Chloe freeze. She dropped a cleaning cloth. Her hands flew to her head. She looked around, her eyes wide with panic. The fire, she whispered. The small camera microphone picked it up. She ran to the elevator, pushed the button, pushed it again. Nothing. She screamed, a small, choked sound. Then she turned and ran to the nursery. She was out of frame for 5 seconds. She ran back out holding Lily, who was wrapped in the blue blanket. She did not stop. She ran to the stairwell door, threw it open, and was gone. Arthur watched, his chest tight. Her story was true. Every word. She ran down 40 flights, he said. Yes, sir, Peters said. We have her on the stairwell camera. At 11:10 p.m. Took her 12 minutes. She fell twice. He clicked. The screen showed a new angle. Chloe on the stairs. She slipped on a step, falling hard to her knees. But she never let go of Lily. She held the baby to her chest, using her own body to take the fall. She got up, crying, and kept running. Arthur closed his eyes. He felt the shame again, sharp and hot. He had accused her. He had called her a liar. He had grabbed her. This woman. She was more of a parent than he had ever been. Arthur had accused her, but the video showed a hero. What would you have done in his shoes? How can you ever trust again when your worst fear is used against you? The text, Arthur said, opening his eyes. His voice was rough. Peters nodded. He brought up 2 more files. File 1, he said. The text sent to Chloe's phone. At 11:17 p.m. As soon as she hit the ground floor. It said, "The park. It is safe there. Go to the bench by the north gate." Peters looked at Arthur. "It was a lure, sir. They led her." "And file 2, Peters said, his face grim. The text sent to your phone. At 11:18 p.m. Exactly 1 minute later. It said, "I have her. City Park. Now." Peters looked at his boss. "It was a trap, sir. They made her the bait. And they called you the hunter. They wanted you to find her. They wanted to watch. To see what you would do." Arthur felt like he could not breathe. This was a game. A sick, twisted game. They had used Chloe's deepest pain to make her run. They had used his deepest love to make him run. He looked around his security room, his fortress, his high-tech billion-dollar safe house. And he had never felt so unsafe in his entire life. "Who?" Arthur whispered. "Who has this power? Who hates me this much?" He did not need an answer. He already knew. He felt it in his gut. Julian Thorne. The name tasted like poison. Thorne was a rival. A man Arthur had crushed 6 months ago. He had bought Thorne's company. A hostile takeover. It was brutal. It was business. Arthur remembered Thorne's face at the final meeting. He had been calm. Too calm. He had looked at Arthur and smiled. "You enjoy this, don't you, Arthur?" Thorne had said. "Tearing things down. You think you've won. But you haven't. You've just painted a target on your back." Arthur had laughed at him. A threat from a broken man. But Thorne was not broken. He was a snake, and he had just shown Arthur his fangs. He didn't want money. He wanted to break Arthur. He wanted to take the one thing Arthur cared about. He had not just hacked a system. He had hacked a person. Just then, Arthur's personal phone buzzed. The one in his pocket. Not the work phone. His private line. A number so secure only 3 people had it. Peters saw Arthur's face change. "Sir." Arthur pulled the phone out. It was a new message. From an unknown number. He read it. His hands started to shake. He read it again. He turned the phone and showed the screen to Peters. Peters's face went white. He looked like he was going to be sick. The message had only 6 words. "That was easy." She ran right. "Next time we won't miss." The penthouse was no longer a home. It was a war room. The air was thick and cold. Arthur Vance did not sleep. He stood by the great glass window looking down at the city, but he was not seeing it. He was seeing the text message. He saw it again and again, burned into his mind. "Next time we won't miss." It was a promise. It was a threat. It meant this was just the beginning. The security room was silent. Peters stood near the desk, his face pale. The text message was still on Arthur's phone, glowing on the desk. "Find him," Arthur said. His voice was low and rough. He had not had a drink. He was perfectly, terribly sober. "Sir, we are trying," Peter said. His voice was tight. "The hack, it's a ghost. Came through servers in 3 different countries. It bounced from Russia to Brazil to North Korea. It's almost impossible to trace. The text message is the same. A burner phone, bought with cash, and now it's at the bottom of the East River. It's clean. Too clean. Almost, Arthur said. He turned away from the window. I don't pay you for almost. Find them. We are running every play, Peters insisted. But, sir, we need to know who we are looking for. Who hates you this much? A business rival? Eh? Julian Thorne, Arthur said. The name hung in the air. Peters's face lost all its color. Thorne? Sir Julian Thorne is broken. You took everything from him. He has nothing. He's not a threat. You are wrong, Arthur said. He walked to the desk. You think this was about money? You think this was a kidnapping? He laughed. It was a short, ugly sound. Thorne doesn't want my money. I already have his money. He doesn't want my company. I already have his company. He wants to break me. He wants to do to me what I did to him. Arthur leaned on the desk. He was remembering that last meeting. Thorne's calm, smiling face. When I took his company, I didn't just take his money, Arthur whispered. I took his name, his father's name, his legacy. It was brutal. It was business. He looked at Peters. He told me I had painted a target on my back. I laughed at him. I thought he was just a broken man. But he wasn't. He was a snake. And he has been waiting. For 6 months he has been waiting. He was waiting for me to have a weakness. Lily, Peters whispered. Lily, Arthur agreed. This wasn't a kidnapping for ransom. This was a message. This was Thorne on the other side of a computer proving he could do it. He made Chloe run. He made me run. He wanted to show me that all this... Arthur waved his hand at the security screens. All this steel and glass and all my money. It means nothing. He showed me he can touch my daughter anytime he wants. The room was silent. The truth of it was heavy. Peters finally cleared his throat. He was a man of action. He needed a plan. Sir, Peters said, his voice professional again. Then we must act. We will move you and Miss Lily to the secure compound upstate. We will double the guards. We will. He will expect that, Arthur said. He is smart. He will expect the guards. Then what, sir? Peters asked. We have to protect the child. And, sir, we have to talk about her. Arthur turned. Her? Chloe, Peters said. He looked uncomfortable, but he was a security man first. Sir, she is a risk. A huge risk. They used her. They knew her weakness. Her trauma from the fire. They must have researched her. They knew she would panic. They knew she would run. She is a weak link, sir. Arthur was silent. Peters was right. From a security point of view, Chloe was a problem. She was the one they had figured out. She was the door they had opened. They will use her again, Peters said, pressing his point. They know she is emotional. They know she is not trained. She is a civilian. She is a liability. The logical move, the safe move, is to remove her from the child. We can send her away. Give her money. She can have a good life. But she cannot be near Lily. Arthur said nothing. He was thinking. He was thinking about Peters's words. Logical, safe, trained. And he was thinking about the video of Chloe falling to her knees on the hard concrete stairs. He saw her arms wrap around the baby, her back taking the hard hit. He saw her get up in pain and keep running. He had paid millions for a trained team, a logical system, and it had all failed. The only thing that had worked was Chloe, a scared girl. Her fear, her trauma, it made her run to Lily, not away. Bring her here, Arthur said. Sir, get her. From the nursery. Bring her to me. Now. Peters nodded, not questioning the order. He spoke into his earpiece. A few minutes later, the door to the security room opened. Chloe walked in. She was flanked by 2 large guards. She looked so small between them. She had washed her face. The red gloves were gone. Her hands were raw and red from the bleach. She fed them together in front of her. She would not look at Arthur. You wanted to see me, Mr. Vance? She whispered. Sit down, Chloe, Arthur said. She sat on the edge of a chair. She looked like a small bird, ready to fly away at any sudden noise. They used you, Arthur said. It was not an accusation. It was a fact. Chloe nodded, her eyes filling with tears. She had been sitting in the nursery, holding the sleeping baby, and this was all she could think about. They knew, she whispered. They knew about my parents. They knew the alarm would. They knew I would run. I wasn't saving her. I was a puppet. This was a new, awful thought for her. She had thought she was being brave, but she was just a tool. Mr. Vance. I'm so sorry. I should have called security. I should have. You did exactly what they wanted, Arthur cut in. His voice was not kind. It was just true. They are smart. Smarter than my entire team. He looked at Peters, who flinched but said nothing. I understand, Chloe said. The tears began to fall. She stood up. Her legs were shaky. I'll pack my things. I'll go. I am a danger to her. I can't be near her. I'll go right now. She was ready to leave, to run, just like she had run from the fire. She was the problem. She had to be removed. You're quitting? Arthur asked. I can't stay here, she said, her voice rising with panic. This is not my world. This is about monsters. That man, he wants to hurt you. He wants to hurt Lily, and he used me to do it. I can't protect her. You need soldiers. You need men like him. She pointed at Peters. Not a maid who is afraid of alarms. She turned to leave. She just wanted to be invisible again. To go back to a life where millionaires and hackers and threats did not exist. You're right, Arthur said. Chloe stopped. Her hand was on the doorknob. She turned back. You are not a soldier, Arthur said. He walked toward her, his footsteps quiet on the floor. You are not a security guard. You are a maid. You are a young woman with a terrible memory. You are, as my head of security called you, a weak link. Chloe's face fell. He was firing her. And, Arthur continued, you are the only person on this entire planet who ran down 40 flights of stairs to save my daughter. You are the only person who used your own body to shield her when you fell. You are the only person who did not fail. Chloe looked up, confused. But Arthur looked at Peters. My team, my guards, my technology, all of it failed. We were looking for an army, for a brute force attack. We were looking for guns. We were looking for a rival company. He turned back to Chloe. But the enemy, he didn't use guns. He used psychology. He used you. He used your heart. Arthur stood in front of her. They know all about my guards. They know Peters. They know my drivers. They know my cars. They know about my house upstate. They are watching all of it. They are watching me. He leaned in a little. But do you know who they are not watching? Who they don't care about? Chloe shook her head. You, Arthur said. His voice was quiet, but it filled the room. They see you as just a maid. They see you as the weak link. They see you as a tool they have already used. They think you are unimportant. They think you are scared. They think you are running away right now. They think you are gone. He stared at her, and for the first time, she saw something in his eyes. It wasn't anger. It wasn't coldness. It was a desperate hope. And that, Arthur said, his voice dropping, is why you are the only person who can save her. Chloe's eyes went wide. What are you talking about? Sir, Peter said, stepping forward. He looked horrified. Sir, this is insane. It's illogical. She is not trained. You cannot be serious. Arthur did not look at Peters. He kept his eyes locked on Chloe. I am talking about a new job, Chloe. I am talking about the only plan that will work. The plan he will never see coming. He is waiting for me to build a fortress. He is waiting for me to hire an army. He is not waiting for me to trust. Trust, Chloe whispered. Sir, I must advise against this, Peter said, his voice firm. This is a non-starter. I cannot protect you if you can't protect me anyway, Arthur said. His voice was sharp. He turned to his head of security, a man who had been with him for 10 years. You failed. Your systems failed. Your men failed. You are a good man, Peters, but you are predictable. He knew what you would do. He knows what you will do next. Sir, I am trying to save your daughter's life. So am I, Arthur said. You're fired, Peters. The words hit like a gunshot. Peters stared, shocked. His mouth opened, then closed. Sir, Mr. Vance, you can't be. Get out, Arthur said. Get your team. Get all of them. I want this building empty of all security in 1 hour. You are all fired. Tell the press I had a budget cut. I don't care. Go. Peters looked at his boss. He saw the cold, hard set of his jaw. He knew that look. The deal was done. Peters stared, his face a mix of anger and shock. Then his face hardened. He was a professional. He gave a single, sharp nod. Yes, sir. He turned and left the room. The door shut. Arthur was alone with Chloe. Chloe was shaking. Mr. Vance, you fired your whole team. You are not safe. I don't understand. He is watching my strength, Arthur said, as if explaining a simple business deal. So I am getting rid of it. I am going to look weak. I am going to look vulnerable. He walked to her. Thorne wants my daughter. He will try again. He will expect me to build higher walls. So I am going to tear them down. He locked his eyes on hers. He will not expect me to do the one illogical thing. He will not expect me to trust you. Trust me? To do what? From this moment, Arthur said, you are no longer Lily's maid. You are her guardian, her protector. He walked to a safe behind a painting. He spun the dial. He opened it. He took out a passport, and another, and a stack of money. You are going to take my daughter, Arthur said. You are going to give up your name. You are going to give up your life. You are going to take her, and you are going to disappear. Chloe stared at Arthur. He had to be crazy. This was not real. This was a nightmare. Disappear? She whispered. Her voice was shaking. Me? But I'm nobody. I'm the maid. I'm the one who messed up. I'm the weak link, you said it. How can I can't. You are the only one, Arthur said. His voice was not cold. It was raw. It was the sound of a man who had lost everything and had only one chance left. Listen to me, Chloe. He is watching me. He is watching for soldiers. He is watching for armor. He is watching for men with guns. He will never look for you. He took a step closer. He thinks you are a scared little girl who ran to a park bench. He thinks you are a pawn he already used. He thinks you are back at your apartment right now, crying into your pillow. He has dismissed you. He has forgotten you. And that makes you the most dangerous person I know. It makes you invisible. Chloe's heart was pounding. But to take her from you? Forever. Arthur's face tightened. He looked away from her toward the nursery. He walked to the door and pushed it open. Chloe followed him, her feet moving on their own. The room was quiet. Lily was awake in her crib. She was not crying. She was just lying there, quiet, playing with her own feet. A tiny, innocent life in the middle of a war. Arthur walked to the crib. He looked down at his daughter. For the first time, he did not see a legacy. He did not see an heir. He did not see a duty. He saw a small, warm person. He saw her mother's eyes. He saw a life that had not even started. A life that Julian Thorne wanted to use as a pawn in his sick game. Slowly, Arthur reached his hand into the crib. He did not pick her up. He just let his finger rest on her tiny hand. Lily, in her sleep, wrapped her tiny fingers around his. His breath caught. He had not felt a connection like this. Not ever. He had been a father, but he had not been a dad. I cannot protect her, Arthur said. His voice was a quiet, terrible confession. He was not talking to Chloe. He was talking to himself. My money, my power, my buildings, it's all just a cage. It's not a fortress. It's a target. And as long as she is my daughter, as long as she is Lily Vance, she will be a target for the rest of her life. He pulled his hand back. He turned to Chloe. His eyes were full of a pain she had never seen. But if she is just a child, with her mother, in a small town, a town with no skyscrapers, a town where no one knows the name Vance or Thorne, no one will ever look twice. Chloe's heart was pounding. Her mother. You love her, Arthur stated. It wasn't a question. I saw you in the park. I saw you on the video. You fell on the stairs. You took the pain. You protected her. You did not protect yourself. That is love. You love her more than I know how to. Chloe looked at Lily, and her heart ached. It was true. In the few weeks she had been here, this baby had become her world. A world she had lost when her parents died. This baby was her second chance. She had been given a child to save, just like she wished someone had saved her parents. But to take her from you? Chloe said. To lie? Forever. They will take her from me anyway, Arthur said. His voice was hard again. And they will not be kind. Thorne, he will not stop. He will not stop until I am as broken as he is. He will not stop until I am on my knees. And he will use her to do it. I will not let that happen. He looked at Chloe. He was not a boss. He was not a millionaire. He was just a father. A scared father. I am asking you to do the impossible, Chloe. I am asking you to give up your life. To give up your name. To save hers. Can you do it? How do you make that choice? How do you agree to leave everything you know? How do you become a ghost? Chloe looked at the millionaire. He was broken. The cold, powerful man was gone. And she looked at Lily, who had just smiled. A small, sleepy smile. Chloe had run from the fire. She had run from the alarm. She had been ready to run from this house. She had been running her whole life. She took a deep breath. She would not run anymore. Okay, Chloe said. Her voice was steady. It was the steadiest it had ever been. Yes, I will do it. I will protect her. I will be her mother. Arthur nodded. A single sharp nod. The relief in his eyes was so deep, It almost brought Chloe to tears. In a second, the businessman was back. The fear was gone, replaced by a plan. Good, he said, because we are leaving. Tonight. Right now. The plan was simple. And it was brilliant. It was the opposite of everything Julian Thorne would expect. Thorne was watching Arthur. He was watching the building. He was watching the guards. He was waiting for Arthur to make a move. He was waiting for the fortress. So Arthur made one. While Chloe quickly and quietly packed a single, simple backpack, diapers, formula, wipes, the new passports, the stack of cash, Arthur went to his office. He got on the phone. "Get me a new team," he roared. He was yelling loud enough for anyone to hear. "I want ex-military. I want the biggest, ugliest men you can find. I want them here in 1 hour. I am moving my daughter to the compound upstate. Now." He was creating a distraction. A big, loud, expensive distraction. "And get me a convoy," he shouted to his assistant. 3 armored cars. The best you can find. I want them at the front door. We leave in 2 hours. I want the police to know. I want an escort. He was putting on a show. He was acting like a predictable, scared, angry millionaire. He was being stupid. And he knew Thorne's spies would be reporting everything. Vance is panicking. He's moving the child upstate. He's surrounded by muscle. He's a fool. He is doing exactly what we thought he would. Thorne would focus all his attention on this decoy convoy. He would follow it. He would plan an attack on the road to the compound. He would be watching the front door. But Arthur and Chloe were not going to the front door. At 3 a.m., the lobby was full of new, large bodyguards. They were loud. They were obvious. The armored cars were idling at the curb. It was a circus. While all eyes were on the circus, Arthur met Chloe by the service elevator. She was not in her green uniform. She was wearing simple black pants, a dark gray hoodie, and a baseball cap. She looked like any other young woman in New York. She held Lily, not in an expensive stroller, but in a simple, cloth baby carrier strapped to her chest. Lily was fast asleep. "Okay," Arthur whispered. He was holding a small, cheap burner phone. "This has 1 number in it. Mine. When you are safe. When you are where you are going. Send me 1 text. Just the word safe. Then I want you to destroy this phone. Do you understand?" Chloe nodded. "I understand. Your new names are in the passports. You are Grace. Grace Washington. She is Anna." "Grace and Anna," Chloe repeated. She would not forget. "The card I gave you, it is not connected to me. It has enough money for you to buy a house, a car, to live for years. Do not be afraid to use it. Disappear. Find a small town. Be normal. Be happy." He looked at Lily, his daughter. She was so small. He wanted more than anything to kiss her goodbye. But he couldn't. He couldn't risk leaving any part of him on her. He just reached out and touched her head. A brief, gentle touch. "Goodbye, Lily," he whispered. He looked at Chloe. "He will be watching the convoy. He will not be watching the subway. You have 2 hours. Go." And Chloe. She looked at him. "Thank you," he said. His voice broke. Chloe just nodded. She turned and pressed the button for the service elevator. The doors opened. She stepped inside. The doors closed. She was gone. Chloe walked out of the service elevator into the basement. She walked past the busy loading docks. Men were yelling, moving boxes. No one looked at her. She was invisible. She walked out a side door, onto a street 3 blocks away from the penthouse. A light rain was falling. She did not look for a taxi. She did not look for a car. She pulled her hood up, checked that Anna was dry, and she walked. She walked 4 blocks. She blended in with the other people, the night shift workers, the partygoers going home. She walked down the steps to the subway. She swiped the card Arthur had given her. She stood on the platform. The train came, loud and bright. She got on. As the train moved, she looked out the window. She saw the tall, glass tower of Arthur's penthouse, shining in the rain. Then the train went underground, and it was gone. 1 year later, the sun was warm. It shone on a small park, filled with green grass and a playground. A little girl was on the swings. She was bigger now. She was not a baby. She was a toddler, laughing, her legs kicking. "Higher, Mommy! Higher!" she yelled. "Okay, Anna, higher we go." Chloe, no, Grace, pushed the swing. Her hair was different, cut short. She was wearing simple jeans and a t-shirt. Her face was relaxed. She was smiling. They lived in a small town in Oregon. A town with pine trees and small rivers. A town where no one locked their doors. A town where nobody knew the name Vance or Thorne. Here she was just Grace Washington, a young, single mom who worked part-time at the town library. Her life was simple. She woke up. She made breakfast for Anna. She went to work. She read stories to the children. She came home. She pushed her daughter on the swings. She had done it. She had disappeared. On that first night, she had taken the subway to the train station. She took a train to Chicago. From Chicago, she took a bus to Denver. From Denver, she bought a cheap, used car. She drove for 3 days until she found this town, a place that felt safe. She had sent the text. One word, safe. Then she had broken the phone and thrown it in a river. She had not heard from Arthur Vance since. She did not know what happened to him, or to Julian Thorne. She only knew that she was safe, and Anna was safe. She was no longer the girl frozen by the sound of an alarm. In fact, just then, the town's volunteer fire department siren went off. A loud, screaming wail testing the system. A year ago, Chloe would have dropped. She would have panicked. Now Grace just looked up. She watched the birds fly from a nearby tree. She took a deep breath of the clean air. She looked at her daughter, who was laughing, not even scared of the sound. Grace smiled. The fire was gone. The past was gone. She had been asked to protect a child. But, in truth, the child had saved her. She was no longer a victim. She was not a maid. She was not a pawn. She was a mother. She was a guardian. And she was finally home.
Thank you for listening all the way. Your support means everything. Subscribe, leave a comment with your real name and where you're from, and you might see your shout out in the next story. See you tomorrow, same time, same good energy.